Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner. Today, we're going to start on a new journal. It's going to be another one of those six-fold journals, and I absolutely love making those journals because you don't see very many people making them. Before we get started, I do want to thank some people for helping me through a difficult situation. I had a person comment on a video saying that I overused the word grab. And she said it in a very negative way, and it bothered me quite a bit. And I mentioned it on a video. And my longtime faithful subscribers have helped me to turn lemons into lemonade. They have made jokes about it, and it has really made the situation much better for me. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Steph said in one of my videos, when I was sewing, the lace grabs your attention. And people are putting this in parentheses. I'm loving it. And then Natalie wrote that she wasn't able to grab my live when I did a live video. And then Anne wrote she was happy that she was able to grab my journal that I had for sale. So I'm telling you, it has made me joyful and not upset about what that woman said. It just, you guys are fantastic. Now, Mitzi had a suggestion when I was showing magnets and using them, and I had a piece of metal to help not use both sides of the magnet. She recommended also using a washer, and that's a great idea because those are more available out there than what I was using. And then Beverly um, made the comment, absolutely correct. We have to be careful that magnets can be very dangerous for children and for our pets. Back when I worked in the emergency room as an emergency room nurse, anytime a child came in that had swallowed a magnet, they were immediately brought back to a room. X-ray was done just to confirm. A GI doctor was called in, and that child was put under, and by endoscopy procedure, that magnet was removed because magnets can erode and, you know, cause bleeding in your stomach. So thanks, Beverly, for reminding us about that. Now, to make a six-fold journal, it actually is six journals in one. There are two larger journals and then four smaller journals. And I have everything all laid out here and hopefully organized for you guys. So let's go through the larger journal first. Journals. There are two of those. Now, when I've made them before, I have taken a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, folded in half, and that was one journal. But this time I wanted to make the journals even smaller. So for these two larger journals, they are 5.5 inches in height. Each page is 5.5, and then the width of the page is 7.5, and I don't have my big ruler here. Let me grab it. Oh gosh, I said grab. See, you just can't help it when you're going to go get something. Anyway, your larger page is 7.5. And so when you fold it in half, then those pages are 3 3/4. So when you go to print out your kit, you need to remember that. What I did for these pages is I printed 2 to a page. So on your print setting, you can either have 1 image per page, or there is settings where you can say 2 to a page, and it prints the exact same image twice on one piece of 8.5 by 11. And so those are the larger journals. I'm going to set those aside for just a minute. Then our little journals, you're going to need 4. You are going to need 2 for the front and 2 for the back. Now they measure, and I'm just going to pull one of these clips off. So the height of the small journal is 3 3/4, and then the width of the paper is 5.5. So when you fold it in half, your page is 2 3/4. So to print those pages off, you are going to set your printer to 4 to a page. So you will get the same image 4 times. You see, that's 1 image, that's 1 image, 3rd image, and 4th image. So 4 to a page. And that's how you figure that out. Now, what I also did is, because I like sometimes book pages and other pages in my journals, and the kit I am using is Medieval Mirage, her garden kit, volume 1 and 2, and also the add-on kit. She has a regular size garden kit, but then she also has a tall one for your document style journals. I used the regular size one. So let me show you some of what I did for the smaller journals. I went through my stash and I found books that were really small. And so once again, I had to measure and make sure that the width of the page was 5.5 inches by 3 3/4, and then when I folded it over, it was 2 3/4. So on some of these, it was easy to cut those pages down, but like this one for the kit, I just did 4 to a page. This is some straw paper. I have Florentine paper. Again, some of the kit. This is some eco-dyed paper, and then I end each one with one of the 4 to a page. And I have them numbered because I went ahead and sorted them out so that I didn't have any duplicates on each side. So this will be on one side of the journal, this on the front of the journal, this will be on the back of the journal. Now let me show you once again with the larger pages. They are 5.5 inches tall. The width of them is 7.5. And once you fold them, they are 3 3/4 in width. And so once again, I went through and I looked for books where that could accommodate those sizes. For instance, on this one, what I ended up doing is I did cut it down. It is a French book. And I just added some coffee dyed paper on the inside to make pockets. So once again, it's 5.5 inches tall, 3 3/4 inches in width. Again, this is the digital. This is some Florentine paper here. A digital, a small wildflower book. And what I did is I folded over the pages so that again the width would be 3 3/4, and then it gives me a small tuck there. And then I cut down a ledger, one of my Italian ledgers, to that size, and then I ended with a digital. So there are 10 pages in each journal. So 10 pages here, 10 pages here, and then 10 in each of the smaller journals. So there's a total of 40 pages here and 20 pages here. Now, one thing that I learned as I have made these journals is for the outside, I want something strong. And so what I've done is I have printed on my Epson heavyweight paper. Let me reach over here and pick it up. You notice how carefully I'm saying that? This paper is 48 pounds. It's still 8.5 by 11. But I'm going to show you the thickness of it. You see that as compared to my hammermill paper, which I believe is 32 pounds. And there's one sheet of that. So you see the difference? I hope you can tell by the way I'm flipping it. So I printed on this heavier Epson paper for the front and back covers. And again, they are the same measurements. I'm going to just put that off to the side, and I'm going to bring in a paper cutter, and I'm going to show you what I learned. So previously, I had printed the images for the front and back cover on both sides, but I realize we don't really have to. So I'm going to trim this down. I'm going to take off this little bit of an edge first. And remember, we want the height of this front cover to be 5 3/4. Oh no, excuse me, 5 1/2. I apologize. 5 1/2. So I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to lay it in my trimmer, line it up at the 5 1/2 mark, and then trim that. And that's going to be one of the either front covers or the back covers. Now I'm going to tell you what I ended up doing. Previously, I may have gone ahead and trimmed it. However, I have realized it's better just go ahead and fold it. Use a bone folder to make that nice and crisp. And then you have both sides, which will really make for a strong cover. And I'm going to glue them together with my Beacons 3-in-1 glue. You could use a glue stick, but I prefer the Beacons. You've heard me say this before. It's because it is a solvent glue as opposed to a water-based glue. And so it does not warp your paper. I'm going to just try to get it to the edge there. It will squish out a little bit and get to the edges. So then you're just going to fold that over. And if you want, take your bone folder and spread that glue out. Now what I'm going to do is set that aside and let that dry. I have gone ahead and already did 3 other ones. So I have a front and back cover to one of the larger journals and a front and back cover to the other large journal. And like I said, I'm just going to set this aside and let it dry. Now you need the same for the small journals. So once again, what I did is I printed off the images on that heavier Epson paper. And I'm going to just trim this down a little bit here. And so the height of this one needs to be 3 3/4. So we're just going to line that up there at the 3 3/4. Trim this. And then we only need half of it. So I'm just going to eyeball it here and lay it in where the groove is, where I can kind of see where that new page starts. And I might even just kind of go over it ever so slightly. And then I am going to go ahead and trim this off, because if I fold it, I will trim too much of this off. So the width of this needs to be 5 1/2. So it really isn't very much that gets trimmed off. And if you need to, you can ink around this to kind of hide that. And I will probably do that. I hope everyone is good. I'm doing really good. Oh, guess what? So it is February. Yesterday, my air conditioner kicked on. Yes, it's already getting hot here in Arizona. I think it was something like 78 degrees, and I don't like being hot in my house, so I have my thermostat set to 74. So yeah, the air conditioner kicked on. Now this today, and look, but I still have this kind of a flannel shirt on. But anyway, so now I've inked that up, and so I will fold it in half, use my bone folder to get a really nice crease, and then once again, isn't that gorgeous? Oh, Jaff, she does such beautiful digital kits. And so once again, what I'm going to do is add some glue to it, and this will be the either the front or back cover to one of the journals. I have a little bit of glue there. And so that will fit perfectly on one of those small journals. So the one that I glued with you guys has had time to dry. So now I can trim it to the correct size. And if you recall, it's 3 3/4. So now that the glue, like I said, has dried, I can trim this. And so what I have is a front and back cover for each of the journals. So a front and back cover for each of the larger journals. And you can decide which one you want for each one. And then you're going to need the same for the smaller ones. So you're going to need a front and back for each one of those. So a front and back cover for each of the smaller journals. And the reason I am explaining it like this is because I'm hoping over the next week or so, you guys will go over and purchase this kit from Medieval Mirage and follow along with me and make one of these. Now, I want to show you what I've done for some of the ephemera. A medieval garden. Now, normally this would be 1 page, but I did 4 to a page because on these small little journals, you're going to need a really small tuck spot. So I printed that 4 to a page, this 4 to a page, and let me just cut this out and I will show you guys what it will look like. I did that for a lot of the things. Some of them I did 2 to a page. The envelope I did 4 to a page. And so let's just do a little bit of this, and I will show you what it will look like. The nice thing about Jeff and her kits is she will make sure that everything lines up well. I may bring in my other trimmer. For this kind of a project where I really need to see up close, I need to bring this big guy in, this Fiskars. And hopefully you guys can see. So this is where the cutting blade will be. And if I just line that up right there, where that plastic is, that's where it will cut it. It's a little bit easier than that other trimmer, which is a Stampin' Up! Trimmer. Now, for instance, if by chance it was off-centered a little bit like this one, I can still come in and trim it up. My nails are really short, so I'm having a heck of a time picking things up. Let's just cut this bottom one here. And actually what I'm going to do is once I cut this one thing right here, I'll just bring in a pair of snips. Now, I will put this aside for another journal because I will more than likely only use one of these in this journal. I'm only making one journal. I think I told you making the botanical journal. I don't really enjoy doing 2 journals at a time. I don't like flip-flopping back and forth, and maybe it's because I'm so fastidious. I want to make sure that they have an equal amount in each one. So, and I did print on the other side. I'm glad I did. For a minute there I thought, oh, I bet I didn't print on the other side, because what this one does, how you would use it, and I'm going to bring you in. As I cut this out and folded it on the fold lines, I know this is supposed to attach somewhere, but I can't quite figure out how to do it. So this is one of the ones where I printed 4 to a page. So I have another one here. I will just set this one aside, and I just trimmed off that edge there. And what I will do is take a little pocket like this and pull one of the pages, and I think it will fit in one of these small journal pages. We could just maybe look at that one right there. And yes, see how that will fit perfectly there. And so what I will probably do is just maybe decorate it a little bit, fold it up, and just tuck it in this pocket here. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And then I'm going to show you a couple of other things that I'm hoping you will print off this kit, purchase it, print it off, and follow along with me on this journey of making a 6-fold journal. So on some of these tuck spots, again, I did 4 to a page. I think this one was 4 to a page. These were also some of them. So do you see how nice and small they are? And so they will work very nicely in this journal. I did also print off a couple of envelopes. This was 4 to a page, and so that will fit in the small journal without any problem. And then this envelope was 2 to a page. And so I will be making journaling cards for these. And let's see what else. Oh, the other thing I did is I went ahead and printed off one of the pocket window journaling tuck spots. And I used my laminator and put some pressed flowers in there with some acetate, or actually it was the laminating material. But I also then took one of the cards, and again, this was probably 4 to a page. I added a little bit of Hebrew script there from a book, a label down here, a small little circle that I punched out there. This is some of my Tim Holtz fabric, and I attached it there. And then this will probably go into one of the larger journals. Let me just pull one of them forward, and like we could even put it on this page here. Now I noticed when I printed this that white is there, but I will add just a small piece of lace over the top of that to hide that. So I'm not worried about that, but I really liked how that came out. And let's see, I did print off a couple of the postcards, the pages with the postcards. So you see how tiny those are. Those will be fun to put in. And so anyway, please go over, like I said, and take a look at the kit. It's Medieval Mirage. I will put the link to this kit down into the description box. And follow along with me. Next Monday, I will be doing the Coptic stitch or Coptic binding, and I will take you through that step by step to teach you how to do that. And so, like always, I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos and to comment on them. And I will see you guys on Thursday for Quick Tip Thursday. Thanks and bye-bye.